First game of the season on the road, Sunday Night Football in Dallas, Jerry's World, as they say. I think it's going to be a win. I think this is an easier game than it was a season ago, even with Dak coming off of all the injuries.
Yep.
We talked about it, the lack of playmakers on offense now for Dallas. Yeah, they got good running backs, but all the Bucs do is stop the run. So where are you going to beat the Bucs defense? I don't know. I'm picking the Bucs in this one.
Yeah, I got the Bucs with you too.
Yeah.
Ratings is going to be a bonanza, but the Bucs are going to win.
I got the Bucs as well, but what they cannot do is sit there and let the Cowboys spread them out. Like, it wasn't the Cowboys' run game that destroyed them. It's the fact that it was those long balls down the field that just kept happening one after another, after another, after another. Again, just have the right game plan, please. And now they're not going to be at Raymond James Stadium. They're going to be in Texas, but I trust that the Bucs will pull it off.
Yeah, and I think too, just overall, I mean, the Bucs used to struggle with the primetime games, but it hasn't been the case, lately. And I think winning the Super Bowl kind of proved that too. So I don't really have too many worries there. All right, week 2 at New Orleans. I'm at the point I'm done picking the Bucs against New Orleans until they prove it to me. So I'm picking the Saints, kind of like what I was just talking about before. But going to New Orleans has been a house of horrors there, and you got to prove me wrong. All right, I picked the Bucs a lot last year because they're defending Super Bowl champs. And to beat the man, you gotta be the man. You gotta beat the man. I'm not saying New Orleans is the man, but they've had the Bucs numbers. So until they prove it, I'm picking New Orleans over the Bucs.
Yeah, I'm turning that around. They're getting the monkey off their back. Week 2, they're going to beat the Saints. Not only beat them, they're going to beat them in their own stadium at the loud Superdome or Little Caesars Pizza, Little Caesars Casino, whatever they want to call themselves nowadays. But I got them exercise the demons. Beat the Saints in New Orleans. In Nolans, I should say. NOLA.
I would love if JC was right, but the fact that they came to Raymond James Stadium and somehow pulled off a victory, I just have to go with an L for the first meetup. I agree. They've got to bring hope back for me now. I will not bet against the Saints when it comes to the Bucs until they do better.
Yeah, Candace, just comment here. We need to be more efficient on early downs. No more first down, off tackle runs. That's been a point of contention over the last 2 years, as great as the Bucs offense has been, and it has been really damn good. They were first in passing yards, second in points per game, and second in overall offensive yards. But sometimes they've gotten that slow start on first down, and when you're backed up 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8, you can get away with it against some teams, but not against a team like New Orleans. So I don't think the Bucs right the wrongs just yet. Going to week 3,
home about that.
Yeah, yeah. Week 3, home against the Packers, 425. Everything that we talked about, Packers offense, not as good. Their defense is certainly formidable, but the Packers defense does not scare me. I don't think the Packers are going to
in Florida too.
Yeah, he does struggle in Florida. So I'll keep this one quick. I'm picking the Packers. I'm picking the Bucs over the Packers in the home opener.
I'm like, yeah, no, agreed. Bucs take it.
Yeah, I got. I mean, between the Bucs' ability to move the football, their defense got better in the draft. Yeah, whatever. Rodgers struggles in Florida. Give me Bucs in this game.
Okay,
got him 3-0 so far. Woo!
Well,
yeah,
you have
Casey. Yeah, Casey and I have them 2-1, but that's all right. Agree to disagree. If we all disagreed, then I don't know. Where's the fun in that? Week 4, Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs take this one. Again, Bucs defense still going to be trying to figure themselves out just a little bit. I understand Tyreek Hill not there. This is a revenge game for the Chiefs. Their offense is still one of the best in the leagues because you got Mahomes there. And I just think this is one where the Chiefs extract a little revenge from the Bucs and win in a primetime game.
Yeah, I got Mahomes evening up the series against Brady 3-3. Bucs lose, drop this one. Probably a nail biter, come down to the last minute type play. And a little bit of a revenge, a little bit of a rematch. I think the Chiefs come out on top on this one.
Yeah, I say solid game, but I think between the speed and Travis Kelce and Mahomes that the Chiefs do just enough to win it.
Okay, weeks 5, 6, and 7, they play Atlanta, home against Atlanta, at the Steelers, and at Carolina. Does anyone have the Bucs losing any of those games?
Nah, that's a stretch. I think they should win and will win.
Yeah, agreed.
Right. Okay. So we're just going to mark those down as all wins. Bucs beating up on inferior opponents. Shout out to Trustin here with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. He says, with all the free agency moves, I see the Bucs 13-4. It was a scary opponent list earlier before crazy trades, but I see us as a number 1 seed. Thoughts? Well, I think the great thing is that the Bucs are going to control their own destiny as far as getting the number 1 seed, because who's going to be in contention for that? The Packers, the Rams, the 49ers too. The West is pretty good outside of Seattle. These are all teams that the Bucs face. So if you get those wins against them, you're going to have the tiebreakers, and obviously you got to win the other games on your schedule. Arizona as well too, but they control their own destiny. So I think that they have a great chance to get the number 1 seed, and they're going to be able to do it on their own terms by beating these opponents that we've been talking about. And yes, a lot of the trades that have gone on have really helped the Bucs. Like the Bucs, the trade they made was they got Shaq Mason in there and helped out the the offensive line after they lost Kappa and Ali Marpet.
Upgraded.
Other teams, yeah, and Brady, of course, and other teams like the Packers, they traded their best wide receivers. So I do agree that the trades this year has really benefited the Bucs, even with trades that they did make, because everyone else around them seems like they got a little bit worse.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you look at the teams that you just mentioned. Is Trey Lance starting? I mean, that's another. The Rams obviously lost some key players. I mean, everyone lost key players while the Bucs replaced key players, with good players and upgrades. And at some, I mean, obviously Ali Marpet, that loss is an upgrade, but everywhere else you could say the Bucs upgraded from what they did, at least character-wise at wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
Character for the home stretch. It's going to count. So I'll take it.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Next game. I don't know if we'll all agree on this one, but Thursday Night Football against the Ravens. I have the Bucs winning. I think this is where, they really start rounding into form, especially defense. I've talked a lot about the defense tonight, and I know the Ravens are tough, but I think if they can figure out Lamar Jackson and they don't let him scramble and get all over the place, I think this is where having a young Joe Tryon-Shoyinka in his second year with his speed and size, I think he's going to be able to get Lamar Jackson and cause some issues for him. So on a short week, when everything gets crazy, with the Bucs being home as well too, I see them winning on Thursday night.
Totally agree with that, especially because they're going to come off of a pretty big high / victory from beating up on the Panthers. So
a mini bye.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It would be a tougher sell if they had a bigger opponent to present a challenge, but between what Carolina has to offer on the short week and then Baltimore hosting them at home, I think it's going to be a better sell and them securing that W.
Yeah, I got the Ravens losing in this one as well. I just think there's too many question marks on offense. I know they've got a stable of running backs and a running back as a quarterback. I mean, a quarterback that can run the ball. But there's still like too many question marks. I just don't know about that offense, and that defense has some aging stars. So I got that as a dub too.
Yeah. Next one, the big one. Against the LA Rams, the Bucs will have some extra time to prepare for them because they have that Thursday night game. Do they get the revenge against the Rams that they've been looking for 2 seasons now? Casey, I'll start with you. Do the Bucs win this game?
Okay, so the optimist in me wants to say yes, not because frou-frou, let's be so unrealistic here. It's honestly because when you really do look at the tough games last season, it really did come at a time where the Bucs were almost at their biggest depletion. There were so many significant injuries at just the most inopportune times this past season. So
already making excuses for injuries. Here we go.
But it's the truth. That's why I'm struggling to get it out because I'm like, somebody's gonna tear into this.
Just say they're taking an L. Just say it.
No.
Win then?
Well, no, actually, I have them losing. But I think if they're healthy and they're being sharp and they're not over blitzing and doing all the other stupidity that they did, I think they have a chance. They have a lot of great chances here. But let's think about it. The comeback that they had in playoffs, their roster was so depleted. And you had guys that were forcing themselves to play through injuries that you could tell were holding them back. If you have a healthy roster versus the Rams and a talented roster in the Bucs can win. I'm just tired of being the only cheerleader on that side. So I got to put an L down for that.
Hey, I'm right
JC?
there with you. I got them taking
Struggling to say it, but I'm gonna
I'm not. I think the Bucs are more talented roster from top to bottom. Yeah, you look at some of the positions. Maybe Jalen Ramsey's better than this person. Cup's better than this. But I think the Bucs have a more talented roster. The only question mark here comes into they have that tough 4-game schedule. Then they still have they've got 3 opponents, and then Baltimore is going to be a physical game. Yeah, they have about a week and a half to rest up on that. But I don't know if Bowles moving into a head coaching role is going to allow him to solve Sean McVay. That is the enigma to him because he just hasn't been able to. And I think it's going to be close. I don't think the Rams are going to come in and blow out or anything like that. But I think the Bucs find an L right here and take their second L of the season. And it's again top-notch competition with the Super Bowl champions and Kansas City Chiefs, who they faced in the Super Bowl 2-0. So
I think this is one where Tampa Bay finally gets over the hump and beats the Rams in an important game. I think the Bucs are going to treat this one where it's more than just your typical regular season game. Maybe not, it's a measuring stick game
not a
for
Super
sure.
Bowl, but
exactly, not necessarily a playoff game, but more than a regular season game. This is the team that has beat them multiple times. Mike Evans has talked a ton about how he wanted to play the Rams in 2020 because the Rams beat them in Tampa. Got that chance last year. And I think the way that the Bucs came back with making splash plays with so many people injured, I know Levante David played, but he clearly was not 100%. Chris Godwin obviously did not play in that game. I think this is finally the time where the Bucs turn that corner against the Rams because they've beaten a lot of good teams and get that win. All right. After that is when they go international. International love as was that Tayo Cruz. I see them beating the Seahawks. What's up?
The Wiener Schnitzel? It means the hot dog stand.
Yeah. Anyway, I see them beating the Seahawks. Guys, yeah.
Bolts up 2-0, shorthanded goal by Anthony Sorelli, and I called him having a hot night. Let's go,
Casey.
Baby.
Oh, great call. Great call. Go to go to my bookie and place a prop bet on that for your next call for Game 7 after the Lightning win this game. But yeah, I see the Bucs beating the Seahawks in Germany. Yeah, I see the Seahawks losing to the Bucs in Germany. They don't have a quarterback. They're obviously, revamping the entire roster. I think this is going to be a nice trip overseas for the Bucs.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about that one, especially because the Seahawks. Tell me if I'm standing on an island alone here, but how many of us watched the Seahawks trades, the free agency conversations, and then the draft and just kind of be like, so guys, what are you doing over there out west? What's the plan here?
Do something.
What's the vibe over there? We're just trying to figure you guys out a little bit more, and we still have no freaking clue. And mind you guys, it's very hard for me to talk bad against the Seahawks, A, because my brother played for them for 10 seconds, and B, I'm a big Pete Carroll fan. But outside of that, what is going on over there? I think the Bucs go to Germany, have a lot of beer, come home with a W under their belt, go into a bye week to really just be like, heck yeah, we did that, and we went to Europe for a hot second, and then transition into the next best point of the season. That's going to be a nice little stepping stool.
Yeah, I think that's a nice W there. It's one of the teams where they were actually awarded marketing purposes rights there back in December. So, a nice dub there for the Bucs is gonna, enamor that fan base and help them sell some merchandise.
On a side note, I went to a Seahawks training camp. I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. It was a lovely area, so definitely would like to get back over there. All right, next week they have a bye, and then after that they play the Cleveland Browns. Casey, I want to get your thoughts first about this game. Do the Bucs continue their winning streak?
Oh yeah, the Browns are a dumpster fire. I what if they think that Deshaun Watson's going to put on a cape and rescue that team? How many times have they put their entire hope into the quarterback situation and thought that it was going to change the city? No, he's not LeBron James. This is a whole different scenario. They need to relax over there. I think the Bucs take it. And I think that the Browns hopefully eventually learn a lofty lesson.
Casey?
Yep.
I don't know.
You mentioned in the Pewter group that I did. One of you boys, if not all of you guys, asked me earlier today what my hopes for the Lightning game. And I was like, I meditate, prayer, sage, candle, all the things. I'm dedicated.
Hey, everyone's got to be all in. It's the playoffs. You have to be all in. Do what you need to do for the team to help. JC, your thoughts on that game? Yes.
Yeah, I think the Bucs. I mean, I think Deshaun Watson. They'll get in that gear. They've got a good quarterback now. Obviously, they've got some talented weapons around him. I think they're not done adding to the wide receiver position. Who that is, we'll see. They've got a competent head coach. They just didn't have a great quarterback, and Deshaun Watson, when healthy and when able to play the game, is a top 5 quarterback in the league. He's that good. He just makes things happen. So, I can see that being a challenging game. They'll probably bring back Clowney. They're going to have a good defense. They drafted a cornerback early, so they add to that room. And they also obviously have Myles Garrett is just an animal. So, it could be a tough matchup, but Bucs win.
Yeah, we'll see with that one. I think the Bucs are going to win. It's going to be like a bit of a grimy type of game, though. Like they're coming off a bye, might not have all of their wits about them, but we don't know what's going to be up with Deshaun Watson if he's even going to be playing. Like he could be suspended. We don't know what's going on with that yet. And even if he does play, Cleveland loves to run the ball with Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb is great. I had him on my fantasy team the past couple of years, so he's done really well. But again, what does Tampa Bay do best on defense? They stop the run. So I don't think that'll be an issue for the Bucs. They win that game. Moving on to the next week, they play New Orleans, I believe, on Monday Night Football, home game. They seem to always play the Saints. When it's a home game for the Bucs, it seems to always be on national TV, and it seems to always go horribly for the Bucs. JC, we'll start with you on this one. Do the Bucs make it 2-0? Well, you had them winning in week 2, so do the Bucs for you go 2-0, beating the Saints?
Well, as you so eloquently put it, it will go horribly again. I have the Saints beating the Bucs in this one. I didn't have them. I had them getting it off their back, so it wasn't something that would stay in the back of their mind. After defeat, going into that Green Bay pack, you go on a high. That's right. We beat them. We broke that 7 straight game regular season win streak against them. But then I have them coming back around Monday Night Football after I think a grimy match, like you said, against the Browns is going to be an L for them. And unfortunately, that will be their 3rd loss of the season if you're counting my losses.
Okay, Huddy.
I'm still struggling to bet against the Saints.
We get them swept this year.
They've gotten swept the last 2 years. It's not like the most
exactly.
shocking.
They showed up to Raymond James Stadium this past season and did not they embarrassed the Bucs. They've got 2 field goals or 3 field goals. What was it? 9-0. Like they couldn't even get a field goal on the scoreboard in their own home territory. I was devastated. I don't know how to sit here and say that the Bucs are gonna come on, it's New Orleans. There's just some kind of juju going on. I am hoping. I want to be wrong. Prove me wrong. That's all I'm asking for. But as for now, especially if it comes to betting, no.
I agree. I agree with your sentiment of prove me wrong because I've said that about other games on this schedule earlier, including week 2 at New Orleans. But this is the last time I'm picking the Bucs to beat the Saints in Tampa. If the Bucs lose to the Saints in Tampa again this year, I am not picking them to beat the Saints for at least the next 4 years. All right, for the next 4 years. But I think everything I said about the Browns game, where it's going to be sloppy, grimy, they're not really going to have everything together. They're going to escape with the win against the Browns and then put it all together against the Saints because again, they're going to learn from week 2. They're going to have the tape. I think Todd Bowles is going to have something dialed up for Jameis or whoever's going to be the quarterback at that point. And I think the Bucs offense, again, with all the talent that they have, I know they struggled in the past. I'm just going to chalk it up to shock and awe of Chris Godwin getting hurt in last year's game in Tampa. I think if the Bucs are fully healthy there on offense, they might not reach the 30-point threshold, but I think they'll score enough and not turn the ball over. That's been the key against the Saints. Whenever they turn the ball over, they lose. That playoff game, they were getting the turnovers, and that's why they won. I think they win the turnover battle, and they beat the Saints in Week 13, which then moves on to Week 14, heading out west to San Fran to play Buccaneer, Ring of Honor member, and Hall of Famer John Lynch, the GM of the 49ers. They go out there. Kay Huddy, I will start with you on this one. Do the Bucs beat the 49ers on the road?
I think so. For some reason, there's just this wayward inconsistency with the 49ers. While they have strong players and they won great games this previous season, I think they're just kind of another team that there's puzzle pieces missing, and I think the Bucs, talent-wise, have an opportunity to exploit those missing factors on their team. So, like I said, for some reason, the Bucs just pull off these amazing performances against pretty decent teams, and I do put the 49ers in a category to be a pretty decent team. But if they lose, they really just do it to themselves. So I'll take them for a W versus the 49ers out west,
JC?
West Coast.
West Coast, yeah nice.
It's cross country trip, so those things definitely play into it, and it's also going to be coming off a tough game against the Saints, technically on a short week because they're playing Monday night and then they're playing again on Sunday. So, I still think the Bucs get it done. At this point, we're talking week 13 right now, right? Week 14.
Week 14 will be 40.
Trey Lance is starting. Trey Lance is starting at that point. And the Bucs are gonna. I have 6 sacks in that game, 2 interceptions. Rack it up right now. Bucs win easy and just destroy Trey Lance's confidence of ever being a starting quarterback again.
Hey, good for Richard. He said he's from LA and he just bought his tickets for Bucs at Cardinals. LFG. That's awesome. So
that'll be a
this
fun
game, yeah, absolutely. This game, I am actually going to equate Bucs going to 49ers. Now, remember, it's a Monday night game against the Saints, so it's a short week, and you're going all the way out west. I think this is going to be the Bucs Washington game from last year when everyone had them beating Washington, and they just came out flat, did not do their job, and they ended up losing. I think this will happen to the Bucs this year. They usually have one game a year where they should win, and they just, for whatever reason, things don't go their way. 49ers are still a good team. They have to figure out the quarterback situation, but that defense is still nasty, and I think going on a short week out west is going to hurt the Bucs. Even it's going to hurt too because that was Tom Brady's team growing up. So sorry, Tom, but it'll all work out for the best. All right, let's start to wrap it up a little bit here. Week 15, home against the Bengals. Kay Huddy, thoughts on the Bengals?
If the Bucs don't win this one, I would just be very irritated, to be honest. So yes, I get they were in the Super Bowl. I am a Joe Burrow fan. I think that he's going to continue to progress in this league. But here's the thing. There's rosters out there where they have a couple key players, and then there's rosters like the Bucs where they have multiple significant players. If you cannot come together and pull off a victory versus a team like that, then you have reevaluating to do. So I think that they do that. I also think that they just kind of build some momentum throughout the season and have this hunger about them to redeem themselves from, tapping out of playoffs. I don't think that it was their time to fall out of the playoffs this previous season. I think it was just between injuries and drama and just so much adversity and outside factors playing into what they had going on. I think that Todd Bowles is going to switch some things up now, wearing the head coach hat versus the DC hat. I think he learned and swallowed some big pills this previous season. So I think the Bengals will actually be a pretty quality game to see a whole different Bucs team surge. I don't want to say resurge, but just surge.
Yeah, I think the Bengals are prime suspects for one of those Super Bowl hangovers. I don't think 5-11 Super Bowl hangover, but I can easily see them 9-8, 9-7.
I guess it would be 9-8. Yeah, I still do the math as a 16 game schedule, and it's like you're literally just adding one number, but it's still like kind of confusing. So
right.
Yeah,
I think like 9-8,
9-7.
Maybe 10-7.
Oh yeah,
like
9-8. Yeah.
I think this is a win. I think this is a win for the Bucs to wrap up.
I have the Bucs bouncing back. I as much as I like the Bengals and everything, I do think they're not gonna do as well as they did the year before. So I see the Bucs taking this one. I know the Bengals improved their offensive line, but I don't know. I still think the Bucs will be able to take advantage of it a little bit. All right, moving on. Bucs week 16 go out west again on Christmas, playing the Cardinals. JC, I guess we'll start with you on this one.
Yeah, I this is an interesting game. It's a Christmas game. It's prime time. You just faced a tough opponent, probably in the Bengals. But I think the Bucs come out of here and Brady gives you something, in your stocking, a little extra Christmas gift, and they get it done. But I think it could be a good game. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is going to be back, but the question there is Kyler Murray. How is he going to progress? How is he going to take control of that locker room? They have some pieces on the defense. They have some pieces in the offense, but is it fully put together? I'm not sure yet. Rondale Moore's progression is going to be a big part of that offense too, especially with Hopkins out for a while. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. But I got the Bucs pulling it off a Christmas gift for you guys and a win right there.
I couldn't say it any better than JC just did. Another one of those teams that they have pieces, but we don't know what the whole puzzle is going to look like and if they're going to be as effective. And I actually like the Cardinals. So I say that the Bucs collected a Christmas gift to their fans with a W and bring that back home.
I think we're going to be a little bit upset on Christmas. I have the Cardinals winning this one. I just think if Kyler is a happy Kyler, he can do some things that will just give the Bucs a ton of headaches, even though the Bucs have speed and obviously height along the defensive line, especially with Logan Hall getting those hands up, trying to block some Kyler Murray passes like Shaq in the paint or Dikembe Mutombo. But Shaq has 4 titles, so I'll say Shaq first. I love Shaq. But yeah, I see just the unique type of gadget offense that the Cardinals like to run, causing some issues for the Bucs, and Cardinals win this one. Unfortunately, for the Bucs. It has to be on Christmas, but again, they'll get that gift in January and February when they go to the Super Bowl. All right, last 2 games on the schedule are the Panthers and the Falcons. I see the Bucs winning both of them because they have Tom Brady and they have a stacked team, and both teams have quarterback issues. The Panthers and the Falcons, they have quarterback issues and just aren't as talented as the Bucs. So I see the Bucs taking care of business in those last 2 games. Casey?
Taking care of business
every day.
The last 2 games. Panthers, Falcons. I know the Falcons might present a little bit of a challenge, but I feel like Russell Gage, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. There's the new names are just throwing me. I want to call everybody Logan. I'm gonna get it.
Call Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, like
Nicolas Cage, right? The wide receiver.
Yeah.
It's just all throwing me for a loop right now. But Russell, new guy. Hello, new fella. I feel like every player wants an opportunity to show up and go off versus their previous team. So even though it might not be the first game that they face off with each other earlier in the season, I think that one of those 2 games he's just going to go ham. And why not do it at Falcon Stadium versus your old team? I think that they close out on a high note and get ready for playoffs redemption.
Yeah, I think I got a split decision here. I think they win the next week at home against Carolina, but I think at this point they're sitting there at the schedule. They've got only 3 losses that I have them right now, so they're sitting at 13-3, and they probably have number 1 seed maybe locked up, or maybe in contention for that number 1 seed. And they say maybe they've got some injuries. They say, Blaine, you're going in. Or maybe Brady starts it, but then Blaine goes in right away.
Okay.
You get some reps maybe for Kyle Trask, and I think you kind of pull back some of your key starters just to avoid injuries going into the playoffs, because what it was like to go into the playoffs with injuries last season. Although they didn't happen in the last 2 games, you still had people recovering. So maybe you give them that extra week, even if you fall to the 2nd seed and don't get the bye, whatever. You're giving those veteran guys an extra week to make sure they're rested and well prepared. And the Bucs dropped the game, maybe on the hands of Kyle Trask, maybe on the hands of Blaine Gabbert. I don't know, but that's where I've got the losses. You always get those weird losses in interdivision too. Like, you just be like, we lost to, the Jets.
Yeah, and the Bucs are going to be hoping. The Bucs are going to be hoping that Blaine Gabbert plays that Week 18 game, because hopefully it's a game that doesn't really mean anything for them. Hopefully they have the number 1 seed locked up, or they have a seeding position where they know they can't move up or down. So we get some Blaine, and Scott gets happy, and we'd be happy as well too. So after looking at it all, I have them 13-4. JC, I think you have them 13-4 as well.
Yeah.
And Casey, you have them right around that too, I think.
Yeah. 13 and 4. I mean, realistically, I would maybe take more of a 12-5 approach just until.
Well, yeah,
I
we'll
feel
say
more
12.
confident.
We'll say 12 and 5 because Josh Kippo also had them 13 and 4. So we gotta have. We can't all have 13 and 4. So
we can.
13 and 4 for me, 13 and 4 for JC, and 12 and 5 for Casey.